Alrighty, what's going on, my brothers? It's a beautiful day outside. It's really nice, actually. So, just leaving from one of my destinations, heading to another destination. Thought I'd take some time to talk with you guys because I have a question for you. I'll roll this up just in case you can't hear me. I have a question for you. To the men who are married, and this can also apply to any men who are divorced, but I'm going to state it from the men who are married right now. If anyone was to ask your wife her top two love languages, would you be able to answer that question accurately? Again, I'll repeat it one more time. If somebody were to ask you your wife's top two love languages, would you be able to answer it accurately? Just curious. The reason why I say that is because as men, sometimes we get into this position where we do things for our spouses, but we do the things that we think they want versus the things that they actually truly want. So if they've been telling us 1,000 times to clean the bathroom, and now today you get up all this, mustard to go and clean the bathroom, and you tell her, hey, I cleaned the bathroom, and she doesn't care. Well, the question is, are you ministering to her love language? So the reason I ask these questions is because there's a lot of times where men miss the mark. And I'm not saying that women don't, but I feel like men miss the mark a little bit more because, one, women can be very confusing. I ain't gonna lie, they can be very confusing. But men, we operate in boxes. In our head, it's like if someone could just slice your head open and see on the inside of what your head looks like, all you have is a bunch of boxes inside of your head. So when your wife speaks to you about certain things, you go straight to that box. So if it's finances, you're opening up the finances box and you're focusing on the finances box. But what women are good at doing is flipping the script on you, right? So you're talking about finances, and then within the next 15 to 20 minutes, you went through finances, you talked about food, you talked about the personal relationship, you talked about working out, you name it. There's been 4 different things that your wife has connected, which it all started from the finances box. And the thing that makes it so hard sometimes is men do not know how to maneuver correctly outside of that one box, and they don't know how to transition 100% correctly. So you're in that box and you're hella confused, like, I don't get it. We were just talking about X, Y, and Z. Yeah, we were. But to your wife, all of it connects. Everything to her, it just connects fluently because she's got a ball of wire in her head. We got boxes, so we're compartmentalizing specific things, opening the box, closing the box, and she's just constantly going, and we're trying to keep up. But it can be really difficult sometimes. So your wife might ask you about the bathroom being cleaned. You go and clean it, but it was never about the bathroom. It was something that caused her to bring up the bathroom that maybe brought up something before. Maybe she realized that you still haven't bought her anything. You haven't went out of your way to go buy something for her, to let her know that you love her, right? Because we can all say, I love you. Oh, baby, I love you. But when it comes to women, the action behind those words is heavier than you probably think. So if you're going to tell a woman that you love her, prove it. You can't just say you love somebody and think that that's it. That's just not it. Especially for a woman, it ain't going to happen like that. So the reason I ask you, again, do you know what your wife's love languages are? Because that's very important. So if your wife, let's just say, for me, right? The things that are important to me, because love languages are for everybody. Love languages are for men. Love languages are for women. I have my own love languages, right? Mine, physical touch, words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is number one. Physical touch is number two. It means a lot to me when my wife pours into me, says certain things, because it's very motivating, very encouraging, very uplifting, and it gives me just all that extra strength to just continue to go when stuff is hard, right? As men, we've got a lot on our shoulders, but sometimes we can make it a little bit easier for ourselves to really understand our wife's love languages and operate in those areas, and try to do better to really understand our wives. You know, they are very emotional by nature. Men are more logical by nature. So it's like trying to find that perfect balance, right? It can be really hard sometimes. But the more that you understand your wife's love language, the more that you'll be able to understand her. So if you have not taken any time to understand your wife's love language, I'll tell you this, that this could be the reason why you might be dealing with some of the issues that you're dealing with right now. It doesn't mean that things are going to be perfect once you learn them, because like anything, if you're going to the gym, you're not going to see body transformation within 2 days, right? You'll see it over the course of a month. You might see some gains a little bit differently, but keep pushing one way or another. Like, so if you've never bought gifts for your wife, you go and buy a gift for her today and she doesn't recognize it because she may have had to say something to you, right, to buy that gift. It's all right though. Hey, at least you got the gift out. But going forward now, set a reminder for yourself. Put it in your phone, you know, once every 2 times a week or something like that, or, you know, every 2 weeks. I don't know your financial situation, but it doesn't have to be anything grand. It's just something to let her know that she's been on your mind. And I'm sure that she has things that she likes. Why not ask her what those things are? Write them down, put them in your phone, put them in a database of things that your wife likes. And then if you have enough money, go and buy one of those things. But if she doesn't care and she's not really into all that stuff, then you have an opportunity to do something like really, really good, like now. You know what I mean? Like, you have a chance to set the tone for your relationship just by understanding the things that she really likes. So again, if you're doing things that she really doesn't care about, but you're getting excited because you did something, it's not going to go a long way. And even if that was the case for you, think about it for yourself. Think about the things that really are important to you. Like, what ministers to you? And if your wife, let's say for me, right, it's the words of affirmation, but then my wife goes and buys me a gift, right? Honestly, I don't care. Like, it's not going to be like, I'm going to be thankful, but it's not what I want. Like, my favorite thing is hear my wife tell me she loves me, I'm a good man, you know, not because I need it, but it just feels good. Like, what man doesn't like to hear some amazing stuff from their spouse in general? Like, I don't know what man doesn't want to. I know I love it. So in the physical touch, that just adds, it's like the cherry on top, you know what I mean? And it doesn't always have to be like sexual physical touch. It can literally just be your wife rubbing on the back of your neck, you know, or rubbing your head. Again, not trying to be sexual here, but it's like, those are things that are just nice, you know. She's rubbing on your shoulders, a little massage or something, give you a kiss on your forehead. Like, I don't know, something about that stuff that's just, it's beautiful. But seriously, if you have not taken the time to really understand what I'm talking about, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. I'll have to put that into the description so you guys have access to that. The 5 Love Languages is such a good book. It just helps men and women understand different ways that their spouse communicates their love, right? Or shows what is important to them. So again, my wife, and it changes too. It changes based off things that happen in life. It's not going to always be the exact same. And that's why you always have to check in. If you're never checking in and you're just assuming that for the next 10, 20, 30 years, that your wife's love language is going to be the same, well, that's on you. Like, you decided not to make sure you understood your wife. Every woman changes. They are not the same. They will never be the same. Men, we can stay the same, but that's the problem. We can stay the same and actually will remain the same most of the time. And that's why women have a hard time with men, because men do not grow up. Men never get to a place of really wanting to change in their lives, to actually have real growth, And women are constantly changing because there's always something new in their head that they got to do, something that's got to change, something that's got to be fixed, whatever the case it is, right? And men are just like, no, like if it's not broken, like why fix it? Well, it's not that you're breaking anything, or not that you're trying to fix something that's not broken. You're just trying to increase on what you have already to establish something even greater, cementing something even stronger, right? Building a stronger foundation. That's all it is. And I would believe in this area of just really understanding a little bit more about your wife, how she operates as a person, not just what you hear her say, right? But really understand her heart behind what she's saying. So important to really listen, not just hear her, but really listen to what she's saying, because you can miss a lot of stuff. I remember my wife, she said some stuff to me a while back, and this is now probably like 3 years ago. And I remember we were sitting on the couch, and when she said what she said, I remember us talking about this many times. And I remember just being like, oh my gosh, baby, I literally understand exactly what you've been trying to say. You've been trying to tell me this for a really long time. And it was just something I wasn't just hearing her anymore. I was actually listening. So again, you can really find out the things that your wife loves and what she needs if you just spend that time really listening and finding out what those things are for her, what ministers to her. If it's gifts, how many ways can you give her gifts within that love language? If it's physical touch, how many ways can you bless her through physical touch? Is it acts of service? How many ways can you bless her through acts of service? Just keep it as much as you can and keep giving into those areas, right? That's why I say the top two, right? Because number one might flip between number two on whatever specific day, but at least you're on top of it. So I bring this up because, again, a lot of men will be so stubborn and they'll say, I've tried everything. Right. You've tried everything that you thought you should do, but you didn't try everything that she was trying to get to you from the beginning. That's why after divorce, men usually regret the divorce more than women do, because the women have tried over and over and over to tell us what it is that they need. But the pride, the ego get to a man sometimes very quickly, and it makes it hard to really listen to what they're saying. Now, again, this is not every home, not every marriage is like this. But from the ones that I've seen this very well. I've seen it very clearly. And it's just sometimes we don't do a good job listening to what they need. So I know I mentioned The 5 Love Languages. It's a really good book. I would encourage all men to read this book. So men, if you are currently married and you have not read this book, read it. Men, if you are divorced and have not read this book, read it. Men, if you are looking to get married and you have never been married before, read it. I don't know how else I can say that. And then also there's another book called His Needs and Her Needs. Extremely good. I think couples should read that book in general, but anyone can read the book, right? It's very good if you're really trying to understand what women need, what men need, because there's tons of things that we all desire. And there's ways to like cohesively bring those pieces together if we just find out how to meet each other's needs. So on that note, I really hope this bless you guys. Again, His Needs, Her Needs. Really try to figure out what it is that your wife needs through the 5 love languages. Find out those top 2 and start working those things. And as long as you continue to do it with the right heart, the right mind, the right attitude, things will start to change. Now, depends on how long you've been in that deficit, right, with your wife. It could take some years, but don't give up, because things will change. So again, keep the gym mentality. The gym mentality is going to be a part of my life and all these conversations, because the gym just has so much of an impact on men and what it can do for them. So constantly go. Stop worrying about the gains. Just worry about being consistent. That's what matters. So on that note, have a good day, and we'll talk soon. See ya.